stomach is a pain. See you walk in my direction, I go the other way. I start to stutter when I speak. Try to stand on my knees, go away. What's happening to me? Anybody can you tell me what it means? I lay my head on my pillow. He got me staring out the window. Wish on a star for a sign. That's the reason why.
Always on my mind.
Oh,
When you come around, I get shy when I see you.
hey, see you.
When I see you.
Hey, Marlon, you sexy boy.
Never know.
Say what? That's right, baby. Bring it to the front. Hey, Janine. Well, guess what?
Man, what is going on, everybody? What is going on? Y'all know what it is. It's Wade's Word of the Day. Yeah, Wade's Word of the Day, day. I need everybody to tag, text, and tell somebody. Go ahead and make sure that you like the post, that you heart the post. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and share the post. All of that good stuff. We certainly would appreciate it on this evening. Everybody, big up the show tonight. One more time because that sound is so good. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you coming in on tonight. Yeah, so tag, text, and tell somebody. And really, if you're over on the Facebook side, it's so easy to do it now. All you got to do is put the @ symbol. Then it's going to pop up and hit and say followers, and just click on followers. They'll send it to everybody who's following you. So it's real simple and all of that good stuff. So make sure, yeah, that you go ahead and do that tonight. And as well, on this Wednesday, and certainly we don't want the devil on our back. So laughter is good for the soul.
When did the devil get married? Huh? I've read the entire Bible. I've read nothing about him as Satan. And who would marry the devil? Who was sitting up on eHarmony looking at the devil's profile? To a girl, I know he got problems.
I don't know about you, but man, it's good to laugh. It's good to smile as well on this Wednesday. Come on, everybody, show some love. Yeah, a little comedy in your life. Who's sitting up there looking on eHarmony talking about, girl, I know he got problems, but ain't nothing like that. All right, come on, everybody, come on into the space tonight. Yeah. Laughter is good for the soul. Certainly excited and grateful to be in this space on this evening with each and every one of you. Yeah, so keep your head up. Yeah, as long as you keep your head to the sky. Man, y'all know what it is. It's Wellness Wednesday. And man, I'm excited to have my co-host with us on this evening. I'm glad that you're in the space as well. Hey, I don't see any of y'all tagging, texting, and telling anybody. So, I'm going to wait till y'all go ahead and do that. So go ahead, tag, text, and tell somebody. I done told you how easy it is to do it. And while you're doing that, make sure that you're supporting what we got going on. Because understand, listen, we can only stay in this space as long as you are supporting. So a supporter, sponsor kind of thing, So go ahead and put some on it. Put some on it. We're going to ask everybody tonight over there on the Cash App. Go ahead, put $3 on it. You're on the Facebook side. Go ahead and drop 300 stars. And the way that you can do that is scrolling across the ticker tonight. So go ahead and do that. We certainly would appreciate, you helping to support what we do in this space. So let's go ahead and get it started. It's Wellness Wednesday. My sister. Come on, y'all, show some love to my co-host for Wellness Wednesday, Leanna Winstead.
Hello, what's up? How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I hope that you are doing well. Doing
I
well.
am.
As
I-
we often do, go ahead and share some good news or some good vibes or whatever you want to do to get us started, with the people.
All right. Well, happy Wednesday. Glad to see you. Glad to also be seen and not viewed. I'm ready for a good conversation. I hope somebody smiled today. Has anybody told you that you're dope today, Pastor?
Well, don't nobody got to tell me that because I know. You know,
Ah!
don't nobody got to tell me that. You know what I mean? I know
One
it.
more time
I
for
mean,
the latecomers. Tell them again.
it's something about, you got to know that you know that you know. Because, here's the reality. Here's the reality. Um, it's a poor frog that don't love his own pond. You understand what I'm saying? And so in the world that we live in, yes, we want encouragement. We want to be encouraged by other folk, but you also have to be able, as David would say, encourage yourself. Encourage yourself. And so you've got to know who you are and whose you are and what has been put down on the inside of you, because that's the only way really that you can help other folk. And so yes,
That part.
yes.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so didn't nobody have to tell me I was dope. I was born dope, blessed and highly favored and all of that good stuff. You know
All
what I
that
mean?
good stuff.
All of that good stuff. And if you feel in that same way, go ahead and drop that in the comment section. Remind yourself this morning. Yeah, I'm dope. I'm dope. Yeah, tell
Big
yourself.
yourself up. Absolutely, yes. Drop
Matter
some
of fact,
fire emojis in there.
I knew I was dope. That's why I dropped this song right here. I'm glad to be me. No more tripping. Comfortable with me.
Hey.
Talking that talk. Walking this walk. Planning, participating. Living life to the highest. You're dope. We all got this flow. Wave your hands like you just don't care. Cause you're dope, I'm dope, we're dope. What you say? You're dope, I'm dope. Everybody come along with this joint. I'm dope, we're dope. Hey, everybody, we're dope, yo. One.
I don't think anybody will understand how random that was. Like that was not planned whatsoever.
Not planned at all. Not planned at all.
At all. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
Verlin said, "Message. I know that's right. Hey, you got to, you got to know that. You got to know that tonight. Yes, sirree. Yes, indeed. Wow. Yeah, I could have went a whole different way. Just talking about that. But hey, tonight, make sure that you're sponsoring what we're doing. Again, on the ticker, you can do that. I figured tonight we would talk about 5 things. As we get to the end of the year, that you can do that will lead to growth or wellness or wholeness. And we would just bounce that back and forth off of one another. And I guess I'll say like my top 5 things that I'm working on. And then you can say what, you can talk about what you may be working on or what folks should be working on. But I would say the first thing for me really in the season, as I close out the end of the year, the word that comes to mind for me is communication, right? So there are certain things that I need to be communicating as I go into the end of the year. And I'm really thinking about how do I do that, right? How do I communicate it where it's clear, where it's succinct, where it is not leaving any room for what's the word that I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. I can't get the word out.
Ambiguity.
Yeah. You say it again. What's that word?
Ambiguity.
Yeah, where it's not leaving any room for that, where it is addressing, all of the nuances, and then also being prepared to communicate um, any questions or concerns that might come my way. So I think what's big for me as I close out the end of the year is really thinking through um, how I communicate, how I have been communicating, because that's really been a challenge for me in 2023. Feeling like I have been clear in terms of communicating certain things, certain responsibilities, certain ideas, um, but then also having some pushback as it relates to those things not really being communicated. So I'm thinking through communication, right? In all aspects of that, right? Communicating to not only speak but also to hear, um, listening, all of those particular things. So that's the first thing for me, communication. Um, where do you sit on that? How is that something that you're thinking through, or is it something else?
I am. Mine is more so communication is always going to be something we should definitely focus on, especially looking inward first. So I was glad when you said under all aspects to hear and to talk it out to communicate what you need to get across. Of course, I think that's always a good thing. Absolutely. First and foremost,
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, what's one of the things you're thinking about?
habits, habits, and like just like communication, I think it's pretty broad, but I think we have such a negative connotation on habits. So, like, the saying goes, you pick up bad habits, but nobody talks about consistency with those good habits. And I think we need to start setting goals, habits, so that you can increase everything else that comes under. Just like communication, there's different areas and different aspects. But as far as getting yourself together, I think that's one of them. Starting to create good habits, like routines, going to bed at a certain time, even down to your eating habits. So just start thinking of habits in a positive way and start creating them. I
Okay.
think that's one of a good one.
Good habits, good habits. Yeah, I think that's always a good idea to start thinking through that. And again, I think that's one I would concur because 2023 started off with a lot of good habits. Whether it's working out, eating right, all of those particular things. Then ran into a few health challenges, and it kind of set me back in terms of being consistent, specifically in terms of working out and everything like that. And so that's a goal of mine too. As I get to the end of the year, I kind of got to get this 2.5 pack ready for when I go to Jamaica for New Year's. So so, so I need to. So every day I'm like, okay, retread. Every day I'm like, okay, let's get back to it. And every day I'm like, okay, tomorrow.
Every day.
Then every day I'm like tomorrow. But I started off the year really consistent in working out, eating correctly. But these last couple months um, have been a challenge for me in the habits department. I mean, just really, um, and that happens sometimes, right? If you have a setback and then you find yourself, but for me, I'm learning even as I'm thinking through that is not to beat myself up.
That's
So
the key.
so there's my next thing as I go into the new year, finding room for grace. Finding room for grace. Um, grace for myself in all of the things that I'm navigating through, all of the things that I'm thinking about, all of the things that I'm thinking through. Um, the challenges that I face and that I may face with others. And so just trying to find space for grace to really navigate as I move into the next season of my life. And so I've been thinking about grace a lot as well.
Yeah, You ever think that a person can get into a season of giving too much grace for too long of a time?
So I don't think you can never give too much grace.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I do need to rephrase that. So go ahead and give me what you're saying. I'll think of a different way to apply it.
Yeah, I don't think that you can ever give too much grace, right? So if I'm
Hmm.
talking about from a spiritual construct, the essence of where we are today is because of grace, right? Because of grace. Um, the notion of understanding, and I'm very clear about that. All of us walk in the level of imperfection. And I don't think we give enough grace in spite of what we think, in spite of what we think. Um, because we have received way too much grace to try to limit the
Absolutely.
grace that we give to others.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying? Now,
I
does that
do.
mean that we might need space? Because giving grace, I'll say it like this. I'll say it like this.
That's what I
If
meant.
if if you hurt me, if you hurt me, I can forgive that. I can offer up a level of grace for that. But that doesn't mean that are still entitled to operate in my space, depending on, you know, where we
What it
are,
is. Mm-hmm.
depending on what it is, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
then becomes a process of recommitment to commitment. So grace is this thing that happens. Think about it. This is what our faith teaches us, right? Grace is this thing that happens instantaneously upon our belief and receiving the finished work.
Yeah.
But to your earlier point, our habits don't change instantly. Some of the things we've been navigating in don't change, right? It becomes a process to get to the place of that grace has provided for us.
Yeah.
And so I would say that even in terms of our humanity, I can forgive, I can offer up a level of grace that doesn't mean that instantaneously that I can afford you to come right back into my immediate circle. If I think about it like that, there becomes a process of how do we build that back. So I would say it like that.
Yeah, I knew I said it wrong when it came out. I just said it too fast. But if I can be transparent, it's just still nerves. This social media space for me gives me the willies. So in all transparency, it's just the
Mhm.
nerves that I was rushing to get it out. So yes, I do totally understand. Second part, you went right in and explained it. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, you're coming across good. All right, what's your next one? We, I think Grace was mine. So you hear me?
You can hear me. I can't
Yes.
hear you.
You can't hear me? Test 1, 2, 3. You can't hear me? Go out and come back in. All right, everybody, give me a sound check. Lori, give me a sound check if I'm coming across good. Yeah, I think I'm good. So as Leanna is coming back into the space, so I said what? I said grace. What's another thing that we talked about habits. What are some of the things that you are working on in this season? We talked about communication. Lori says, thank you, Lord, for grace. All right. Let me know if I'm getting a good sound here. All right, you got me?
I got you.
All right. All right. Good. You're back. You're back. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead. Tell us what would be your next thing.
Finances. Working on again, like habits will be the umbrella for me, but starting to really focus on certain areas of growing finances, cleaning finances up. We don't take it serious enough. And then we get into these big old ages and then we don't have what we absolutely need. And so looking at your finances and creating good habits for checking them and staying on top of them. that's one of my big ones for the upcoming year.
Okay. So I guess what does that look like? Because that's pretty broad, right? Working
Yes,
on my finances. Does that mean um thinking about saving more? Does that mean that I'm thinking about investing? Does that mean that I'm going to take out an insurance policy to make sure, that my children are squared away in the future? Does that mean that I'm going to set up a trust or a will? You know, all of those particular things kind of come into that broad space. So when you
yeah,
say finances, what are you thinking about?
all of the above. I think getting an education in what it is that we are interested in, finding some interest, even if we just start to educate ourselves, it'll lead us down rabbit holes. So whatever area that anyone is looking for, but me myself, I wish I had known about getting into the, insurance policies way back when, you leave a job, you didn't think about that, but getting one separately from just your employer, those things are super important. Um, so I want to focus on that, learning it so that I can be able to at least teach it to my children so that they know and don't fall into any traps so that they can have a better opportunity than I did when it came to money because we learn on the fly. So I want to make sure that I'm giving them everything that they need to make the right choices, create good habits.
No, okay. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And yeah, listen, I think let me say it like this. I think we should all try to figure out how to make sure that our change ain't strange, right?
Yeah,
But with that being said, I also want us to recognize um, that we don't want to become, and I think in this day, I'll say it like this. Um, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and and I forgot what I was talking about, but I think I was talking about kind of in the context of Waterbury, where Waterbury is this kind of title based town. Would you concur with that?
I don't
So in
know.
other words, what I mean by that is, um, if you have a certain title that affords you a certain level or whatever. You know what I mean? Doctor
Hmm.
this, you done went to graduate school, all of this kind of stuff. Now, for a long time, that was the value system that many black people based who somebody was based on how many letters they got behind their name. You understand what I'm saying? But I would argue that's not true today, even though it's still true in Waterbury. Um, because I know a whole lot of people who have certain letters behind their name, but they don't make half as much money as I make. You understand what I'm saying? So now
Yeah,
in this new generation, the value systems have changed. A lot of our um, young folk are seeing in the culture the rappers and all of these other people and all of that stuff who have a whole lot of money, but not too many of them have any letters behind their name,
right.
ain't went to school or anything like that. So the value system has changed, which happens over time. So where it used to be go to school, get a degree, become a part of the managerial class.
Yeah,
So you're vice president of school, you somebody. You're an alderman, you somebody. You're a principal, you somebody. You know what I mean? You're a police chief, you somebody. That's not the value system today. Matter of fact, when I was growing up, man, you get a job at the post office, you was somebody. That's
right,
not true today.
right.
You understand what I'm saying? Now the value system is all based on dollars and cents. Everybody is trying to run after the bag. So when people are having conversations now, most of those conversations revolve around how do I get to the bag? How do I get to the bag? How do I get to the bag? And so for me, I think it's important that we have a level of understanding around finances that our change ain't strange. But I also think that we have to get to a place where we understand that fiat currency does not bring about the type of revolution that we really need as Black people. And that seems to be the conversation today around that. So there is this pushing to get financial literacy. There's this pushing to do all of these particular things under this guise that it's going to help Black people as a whole. And I disagree with that. I think it will, if I go and get some insurance or whatever and work up a portfolio, that's not going to help all the Black people. That might help me, but it's not going to help all the Black people. And I think that's where this myth comes in about Black buying power and all of these particular things. And so I went into a soapbox because you triggered me on the finance piece. So I think, yes, we should be working to get our finances in order, but just simply thinking getting our money right will help all the Black people, I would argue that's not true. And that's typically the myth that's being pushed forward today. So there's no balance any longer. Where it used to be go to school, get a good job. Now it's like entrepreneur, and there's no balance there. You understand what I'm saying? So
Right. Well, this entrepreneurial journey really for a lot of people only came so heavy because of the pandemic and stronger numbers. I think even before that, they still were going through the systemic way of how we thought that it was going to get us to the upper echelon because we're conditioned to believe that over there is better than where we are. So, yeah, that's cool for them, but I need to make sure, I got to put my seatbelt on first.
yeah.
I'm just trying to focus on certain things because
No.
we were looking at those things, but we didn't know nothing about these things over here. So
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think, and on all of these things that we're talking about, what am I working on? What am I trying to do? I think it's all how we think through it, right?
Yeah.
And then ultimately, for me, my ultimate goal, because I tend to look beyond just me. You understand what I'm saying? So my perspective is always this kind of us versus just simply looking at what I need, right? And I understand that everybody don't see the world, don't have that certain worldview as me. But I think, yes, I think we need to make sure that our change ain't strange. But in saying that, don't think because my change ain't strange that it has a way of changing the totality of what's happening with the majority of us, if that makes sense. I hope I'm communicating that effectively.
yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So I
I
tell,
totally
so I
understand.
would encourage Black people like you, hey, you need to get some insurance, right?
Yeah.
Tired of these GoFundMe type of situations, that we got going on. You follow what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then even as you get no insurance, as you said about the children, educating them on that, because you could be working all of your life, set up your child, leave them some insurance money, and then them jokers end up fighting over the insurance money, and within the space of a year, be them ran through everything
True.
that you tried to leave for them. You understand what I'm saying? So I agree with
Mhm.
that. So it shouldn't just be I'm trying to get it right, but it should be, as you noted, I also want my children to understand what happens, in terms of transition and all of those particular things. So I think that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good. What else am I thinking about as I'm going into the new year? Uh, I'm thinking about so I said, what did I say? Communicating better, grace better. Uh, those are my two things so far. I also think about I think I'm also thinking about next steps and next moves, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about what's next. I think that's some of the things that I'm thinking about, like what's next, what's next. And I have no idea as it relates to that, but I am thinking about it. I am thinking
Yeah.
about it.
preparing. You got a couple of weeks. You can still prepare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mine is movement. My next one will be movement. And I think we touched on it a little bit already about just being consistent with the movement. I want to be able to fall in love with it, but I don't got the energy I used to. And, trying to find it, I just be like, I'll try
Say
tomorrow.
that
Like you
again. You
said,
want to what? You want to do what?
get more consistent with movement.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, and like I said, we touched on it earlier, but sometimes you just don't have the motivation. I'm guessing, or I don't even know if it's motivation because I really want to do it. I just don't have the energy all the time to do it. So I want to get consistent.
Movement. I think we talking about like getting up, moving around, working out. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking
Okay.
exercise wise, yes,
Yes. Yes.
not to the next steps. I just
Yeah.
parlayed off the back of it.
Yeah. No, I listen. I mean, I think it's critically important. I know how I feel when I'm working out, and I know how I don't feel. I know how I feel when I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so there's a level of sluggishness when I'm not working out versus when I am working out. When I'm moving, I feel good. You know what I mean? When I'm not moving, I just don't feel the same. I just
hmm
don't feel the same, and
yeah,
that's just a reality. And so yeah, I think that's something that we all should be doing. Finding a way um, to move and get in shape at whatever pace that you deem is appropriate for you, right?
absolutely.
And so it's consistency. The main thing that I discovered, more consistent that I am with that, the better I am. When I'm not consistent, the worse off you get. And so I'm consistent. I'm working out. 2.5 pack be showing through.
Mhm.
The moment I stop being consistent, that 8:05 a.m. belly just pop right on out. You understand what I'm
Sitting here
saying?
like, where you been?
So you know what I mean? That's right, Jermaine. It
Absolutely.
feels good to work out. Yeah, it feels good to work out. Absolutely, absolutely. What's your next thing?
I think I would just go back to under the umbrella of habits, just good eating habits. I've been really doing really, really well and trying to learn all that I can about the things that we consume and we use on our bodies, the things that we make people super duper rich off of that has nothing but toxins and pathogens and how to clear our system. So I'm super excited about where the wellness thing is going to take off in 2024. I'm intentional about that. So good habits, creating good eating habits so that I can show by example, because I really believe in this thing and not in the way that they're making it now because it's such a huge industry. My mama tell you if she's up here, this has always been me. So it's super cool. And I think I said that a few weeks back, but I love just the learning part of it and then
Yeah,
to be able to break it into the most simplest form of love by creating something so someone can consume and it's good for their body. Oh, I love that. So I'm
yeah,
super excited about that. So good
yeah,
eating habits, good goal setting habits for 2024.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The more you know,
The
the
more
more
you
you know. I
know.
mean, yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. I mean, we are what we eat.
We
That
are
that's
what we
just
eat.
we are what we eat. And the reality is, when you're younger, it feels like you can eat anything. But as you start to get up in age and everything like that, you discover, um, that your younger age lied to you. You
It
understand what I'm saying?
absolutely was a
When you,
lie. Every part of it.
as you get older, there's a level of work that's required that wasn't necessarily there before. When I was younger, I could eat whatever I wanted to eat, and I just stay pencil thin. But as I started, to get older and everything like that, I discovered, man, them cheeseburgers ain't just falling off no more. They stand for a little while, and all of
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And so the reality is we are what we eat. But for a long, but for such a long time, all we had was what we had. You understand what I'm saying? And so a lot of that
Right.
had to do with what you were talking about, lack of information. So when you don't have enough
Hmm.
information, you go with what you know. You go with what you know. And I think we're getting more information, not just in the areas of what we eat, but you know, around a lot of different things now. Yeah. So
Right.
so the more you know.
Right.
Right.
Which is fantastic because I love learning. So yeah, that's those are just a few of the things that I'm thinking about, you know.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
thinking about it, sometimes I stay on think so long.
Yeah, yeah, we all do. We all do. We all have. And that's why it's good to really be thinking through it, right? To be
Yeah.
thinking, through how are we gonna, function, how are we gonna fashion, the next season in our lives? Because like I said, what was before may not necessarily be conducive to what is today, and it may not be conducive to what as it relates to what our future holds, right? And so you need to start having those conversations with your excuse me. You need to start having those conversations with yourself, right? Around that, like, hey, um, how can I get better in a certain area? And what are the steps that I need to do to get better in that area? What are some things, as you said, eating habits? How do I pull away from certain things and different things in that manner? So it's all a process, right? But you can't get started until you get started.
Right. And you got to have a reason as to do it. That's why I think setting intentions. I love setting intentions now because I got to see it to the end instead of just doing something and not getting anything from it or not giving anything to it. Because if you're not a part of the solution, then you are a part of the problem. However, when it comes to, getting yourself together, it takes
Hmm.
a lot because we're all over the place and we give excuse to it and we are in love with distractions. So yeah, I agree. I'll go
Yeah,
off into
yeah,
a
yeah,
tangent,
yeah, yeah, yeah. We definitely, I mean, life is full of distractions, right? And you can easily be moved, you know,
but we're not
in
supposed to
one
be
direction from another direction. You feel what I'm saying?
to and fro. We're not supposed to be. So we need to
Yeah.
figure out the whys. When we feel like we're doing too much swaying, we really need to get quiet and figure out why. I believe that. I believe that that is super beneficial because, like you said, the conversation, people are going to have them, and we're going to get harder and harder ones, and we have to be prepared to do that. But when you feel yourself swaying too much, only you sit down, get quiet, and reevaluate something. There's too much. We weren't created to consume this many distractions in such a chaotic manner, in such a frenzy. I don't believe that God created us to consume this stuff all the time, and our eyes eat first. So that's just
Hmm.
me. Sorry.
No, no,
Again.
no. I agree. I agree. I agree. I think. I agree. I think. You know, as I said earlier, life is full of distractions. That's just a part of our humanity. We just have to figure out how do we navigate through them, by a word that you use all the time, establishing some boundaries, setting some priorities, right? Because some things are more important than other things, and you have to understand what those things are. Because if you're not clear about what is the most important thing, then um, as you said earlier, you find yourself going down through a rabbit hole, right? So
Yeah.
you have to understand, um, in sequence, right, if you will, what is the most important thing that I should be doing today? What are some things that I can put off for tomorrow? And if you're not kind of like thinking through that, then you'll be everywhere. So when I was younger, I could remember everything. Literally, I could see everything, you know, far distance. But now I understand, if I'm going to be able to navigate through my life as it is today, now I got to schedule everything.
Yeah.
So I got to put it in the calendar. I got to look at the calendar in the morning to remind me where I need to be and what I need to be doing today. You understand what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And in whatever occupation that I'm, whether it's my secular occupation, I need to be knowing what I'm doing today. Whether it's the work that I do in this space, I need to be knowing what I'm doing today. And then I establish it in such a way where it becomes natural to me. I was looking at I can't think of his name, basketball player, but what he was talking about was he was saying, listen, the way that you get better is not necessarily by playing the game. It's about what you do in practice. So when you come into practice, you don't get better by doing a whole bunch of different things. You schedule out, you say, today I'm going to work on boom, 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 this one move. I'm going to do it all around the court, boom, boom, boom. This is all I'm doing. Boom, 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 boom. Next day, I'm going to do boom, boom, boom as a reminder, but then I'm going to add something, another step to it. So by the time you come into the game, it just becomes natural for you.
Mhm.
So a lot of people would say to me, like in a space that I operate in, I write everything down, but when I execute or when I communicate or when I talk or when I give speeches in a real way, what I tell people all the time, I need to walk with it before I present it. So, in other words, I'm writing it down, but then a few days before I need to actually present it, I'm letting it walk with me so that when I come forward, it comes across naturally. And so now I've been doing it so long, I can organically show up in spaces and it's just a natural flow for me. I don't get thrown off because I'm not just locked into a script that I need to have with me all the time. I can just flow and whatever happens. So that's kind of what happened earlier. We was talking about a certain thing, and then I was like, oh, I'm dope. I got this song right here. And I can just flow right to it. You understand what I'm saying? But that comes from understanding or navigating the gift that has been put in you and then working through that gift and not just thinking, oh, it gave me this gift and this gift doesn't need any work or I don't need to be practicing or navigating or all of those particular things. And I think that's where we miss it. We get off track because we got all of these things that we think we need to do, but then we don't kind of schedule them
Yep.
around our lives, and then we don't figure out what is the most important thing I need to do today, and then set a list of priorities, and then be able to organically shift when I need to shift. So I don't want to be so strict to my schedule that I can't, if something comes up, that I can't say, okay, I need to move this around in order to make this next thing fit without a panic, without a panic. So
Absolutely. Creating good habits.
yeah, yes, I would agree with that. All right, let me see what kind of music we can listen to tonight. What you got on your mind? What's been on your playlist?
I've only been listening to Todd Galbraith. I love his. There's two songs back to back by him that I listen to, and then the other one is On My Mama. But I don't. You can't play that one tonight.
What's that? What's that? That's a rap song, right?
Well,
What you mean we
she's
can't play it
singing.
tonight? What you talking about?
You can't play that.
What you mean?
It's an explicit song.
Oh, okay, well, I
It's a
know the
good song.
song. I know
It's
the
a good
song that you're
song.
talking about. I can
On
play
My
any
Mama.
song. See, I don't limit myself to that. I don't limit myself to that. But
I
I
got
get where you're coming from. But I know the name of the song. I should have just put it up for P's and Q's just to show you that I can play it.
Don't do that.
But I don't limit myself to those square pegs and those square boxes where people would say you can't play that. Yes I can. Yes I can. Yes I
I
can.
got you.
Yeah, I can play whatever. I can play whatever my heart because again, I tell people all the time, I love all types of music. And so whatever I'm feeling in the moment, that's the music that I play. And I'm not afraid to show that outside of, or I'm not afraid to show that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
So
I
so
think that's how
anybody,
it should be. It's like it's there, and we for so long we were conditioned to think that if you're this, you can't. It's like
yeah, but I don't,
music
I
is
don't,
music.
yeah, I don't, yeah, see, yeah, I don't. I don't see myself as this, that, or the third. I just
Yeah.
see myself as who who I am. And hey, at the end of the day, let me end with this, and then we'll play something. Let me pull some up here. Um, and I'll play this one because uh, I won't pull it up yet. But let me say this from my perspective, and I think I wrote a note down. I don't have it in front of me, but from my perspective, worrying about what people think within the context of worrying about being embarrassed about anything, about certain things, to me is kind of played out. Um, I didn't write it down that way, but in essence, that's what I'm saying. Um, for too long, worrying about what people think, um, to the extent where it paralyzes you from
Yep.
operating in your humanity. And so even in our context, I'll say it again. We've done a good job at looking up, but we've failed to look at one another. And so we create these kind of silos of convincing people that they need to be perfect, but there is no such thing. There is no such thing. I don't care how much you love Jesus. There is no such thing. And so what tends to happen then, you become so concerned about what these so-called perfect people think that you become stifled not only in your creativity, your ingenuity, in your prospects, because you're so worried about what will people think if I color outside the lines? What will people
Yep.
think if my crayon breaks? But the last time I checked, broken
Broken
crayons
crayon.
still have the
Right.
capacity to make pictures. You understand what I'm saying? And so for me, um, that's just played out for me. So I don't really try to limit myself any longer because I play music in this space to some folk based on the title that I have would say, why are you playing that? They don't think you should be playing anything that's kind of halfway secular or whatever. And then I would be lying to myself because I listen to that type of music. And so why am I going to try to hide from y'all when then I do my own self a disservice because now I'm lying to myself
Yeah.
because I'm worried about what people will think. And to me, that is just played out to me. And
Absolutely.
and especially when I understand that ain't none of y'all perfect. We
That part.
all playing a role. We all trying to live our lives, but we have to give people room to understand that we are human beings, that we're trying to navigate this world the best that we can. And so I try not to set those limits on myself. And so I don't think there's anything uh, offhand. I don't think
I
there's
got you.
anything that if I want to play it, I'll play it. I'll just say it like that.
Okay. I
If that
got you.
makes and that's what this space, truthfully, the Ways Word of the Day space, that's what it's been created for. That's why I say in this space, this ain't Bible study because we talk about everything. You know what I mean? You know, our spirituality is a foundational piece of what we do. But I'm not here on Wednesday trying to give theology.
Absolutely.
What we're trying to do on Wednesday, I mean on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, is give life lessons and talk about things as it relates to that. And
Yeah.
that's how I look at that. Life stand says, hey y'all, it's definitely played out. It's best to be authentic to yourself by divine creation, and we are all unique with our individual talents. I agree.
Yes,
I agree
sir.
with that. Verlin says so true. Jermaine Barnes says, "Yep," because truthfully, I think when we are true to our authentic self, that rings true more than any fake thing that we can do,
Right.
because I know, let me say it like this. I just feel like ultimately we end up doing ourselves a disservice, because if we are fronting in public, all we're doing is hurting ourselves in pride. And then we end up having to bleed in silence versus, you know, think about it like this. Think about it like this. If you live in a convict culture, right? So what happens to, or criminal culture, right? And I'm just using an analogy. The criminal, if he does something or whatever, he gets shot, can't go to the hospital because he's afraid of somebody figuring out his dirt. So he got to go and try to stop the wound and all of that stuff in the dark. You understand what I'm saying? The reality is, if we think about, now I may give you some theology, what Christ did, he opened it up where we no longer have to bleed in the dark, because we are all sinners, right? We're all sinners, but then there is now this grace that he has afforded for us, that now we no longer have to cover up, because he has covered us. That's grace. You understand what I'm saying? And so now I can operate in spaces, if you will, if you think about it like that. But we've been made to think that we still have to bleed in the dark when we don't, right? That there is a bomb in Gilead and all of that good stuff. I ain't trying to preach tonight, but y'all got my point. You know what I mean?
I just meant it was cussing in the song.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What does it say? Sometimes being true to yourself makes others uncomfortable. I agree with that.
That's true. That's very true.
What is life there? So then the person who's uncomfortable have to work at their own personal self. I agree.
That's true.
Yeah, a lot of
Two
truth to that.
things.
All right, so let me go ahead and rock this song. It's a familiar song. I actually like the song, so this song I'm gonna play, whether you like it or not. Because this song right here, some would say, why is he playing this song? Because, you know, they're not covered up. Here we go. I saw you look.
I was like, what is this?
It joined down in my soul. Looked out the window, saw the sun, what a sight to behold. Oh, today the birds are singing a new melody. The sky so blue, just like the Caribbean Sea. Yeah. I feel like I can conquer anything. Superpowers all up in me. Grab my coat, walk out the door, turn the radio on, and I begin to sing a shit. It's alright, alright, oh, it's okay, okay. Sun is shining, it's a new day, yeah. I ain't gotta worry now, I ain't gotta fear. I got my peace, I got my strength, so I gotta win.
All right. Hey, I need to get out of here. Y'all know what it is. It's Wade's Word of the Day. We're here every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 8 p.m. So grateful and thankful that each and every one of y'all tuned in on tonight. Yeah, we've been talking about, hey, things we can do to close out 2023. Get ourselves together. Man, I certainly appreciate each and every one of y'all. Just sit back, lean back, enjoy the rest of the music.
Sometimes I
We'll
win,
see ya
sometimes I lose.
on Saturday. Saturday. Boy,
I can't give up, I can't give in.
Same pattern. Talk to y'all real soon.
I'll keep on fighting, I won't quit, no. I feel like I can conquer anything. Superpowers all up in me. Grab my coat, walk out the door, turn the radio on, and I begin to sing. I say, it's alright, oh, it's okay, okay. The sun is shining, oh, Hey!